Ladies and gentlemen, in this video, I am very excited to share with you a major announcement that just hit the chess world here in August of 2025. And overall, this is a very positive development for top chess players all around the world. But no chess news video would be complete without drama. And so you are going to get some drama in this video as well for dessert. So enjoy. Basically, a couple of months ago, I was tweeted at by the International Chess Federation CEO himself, and then I made this response video. You all showed incredible support in the comments section, telling me about how you started your chess journey, how much you play, and so on and so forth. Then I bought a casual fan shirt, and I've been wearing that in some videos. Well, today we're going to get some more of that, because I was tweeted at again. And I'm going to respond, but it's not going to be 50 minutes long. So this video is split into a few parts. First, the update, my reaction to the update, and then we're going to talk about all the extracurricular activity. Let's get into it. Behold, the announcement of the Esports World Cup Champions Chess Tour qualification cycle. In a nutshell, the Esports World Cup event that we saw in July of 2025, which was a month ago at the time of recording this video, will now take place in a season-long format, which means multiple tournaments will qualify players to play in the final in 2026. This is a huge deal. It's a huge deal first and foremost, and really most importantly, because now esports organizations will make long-term contracts with players like they do with any other video game, which is not something that we can say has been going on for, and gives top players a salary, which is not guaranteed in top chess at all. So, chess will return to the global esports stage following the highly successful debut. And the Champions Chess Tour 2025 served as the primary pathway, right? So you have to remember, this most recent Esports World Cup, it had two events. The Champions Chess Tour started out with many more events during the pandemic. That was fueled by the fact that we were all locked inside. It was not a particularly sustainable business model, it seemed like. They were, they had different sponsors for every tournament and everything, and it has been cut down significantly. So this is the important thing. Instead of having two events, it's going to work like this. Chess.com will unite its three most prestigious events in one umbrella for the Champions Chess Tour. It's going to be Title Tuesday, the Speed Chess Championship, and the Chess.com Global Championship. Together, these events will form the new Champions Chess Tour, which will qualify 12 players for the Esports World Cup. So, this is the way my understanding is of how it's going to work. Magnus auto-qualifies because he's the champ. He's the defending champ. He doesn't have to re-qualify. Okay, that's one spot. Now there are 15 spots up for grabs, and 12 of them will be from this tour. Now, the way this is going to work is that Title Tuesday is split into 3 seasons. So you see there's 3 splits of Title Tuesdays. September to November coming up, December to February, and March to May. Okay, those are your 3 splits. And in those events, you will qualify first to the left in the Speed Chess Championship, and then to the right for the Global Championship. The top 3 finishers of the Speed Chess Championship and the Global Championship make it to Riyadh 2026, and the rest of the people are selected from the overall leaderboard, okay? So both of these tournaments have $250,000 prize funds, and altogether, you're going to get 12 players. That's what it looks like to me, plus Magnus, and then 3 from the last chance qualifiers. So again, to summarize, historically, Chess.com puts on the Speed Chess Championship. Amazing event, frequently Magnus and Hikaru in the finals, because that's just what happens. Last time, there was a live final in Paris with Hans Niemann and Alireza Firouzja. And so the way it's going to work now is, you have to play in the Title Tuesday tournament to go up the leaderboard in every season. And if you are in the top of that leaderboard, you qualify for the Speed Chess Championship, and in the Speed Chess Championship, there is a qualifier in and of itself. So if you don't make it from the leaderboard, it's just like a tennis tournament. You can show up to the qualifiers and try to qualify for the Speed Chess Championship. Then in the Speed Chess Championship, the top 3 make it to the Esports World Cup final in 2026, okay? And then we go to the second season. In the second season of Title Tuesday, you qualify to the Global Championship. I don't know which way I've been pointing. It doesn't really matter. You qualify to the Global Championship. Top 3 there make it to Riyadh, right? And then at the end of the day, if you have been consistent enough in the Title Tuesday tournament for 3 seasons, you make it to Riyadh. And then obviously there's a last chance qualifier. Now, here's a funny situation. What if the top 3 finishers of Speed Chess Championship and Global Championship are the same. Magnus, Hikaru, Firouzja. So Magnus actually already qualified. He's the defending champ. Hikaru only qualifies once. Firouzja only qualifies once. That means you got 3 players. That means 10 people, is my understanding, would come from the leaderboard. That's crazy. That's very interesting to me. So, you would think in the long run, the best players are still going to make it. You're going to have your Hikaru, your Firouzja, Nepomniachtchi, maybe Artemyev. Like we saw last time, Aronian had a really good showing. You might have Praggnanandhaa, you might have Erigaisi, Nihal Sarin. You're going to have, obviously, the Indians. Maybe you're going to get a Nodjibek in there. I don't know. But over the long run, you should probably get a lot of the familiar faces. Now, why is this a big deal? The minimum prize fund of the Esports World Cup, even if you got knocked out, is $50,000. It's a lot of money. And if you're an esports player and you want to sign with an org that's not a Team Liquid, that's not a Falcons, that's not one of the top 3 finishers of the Esports World Cup, right? Chances are you are not on any sort of guaranteed contract. Look, take a look at the participants of the last Esports World Cup. 12 players. They all have an org. Originally, Fedoseev was playing. He didn't have an org. Then he got replaced by Yesipenko at the last minute, who has an org. It's really not clear how many of these players are on long-term contracts, because chess is a new player to esports, and therefore none of their contracts are guaranteed. And let's not forget, we can't just be searching for contracts for the top 5, top 10 players in the world. They've been getting paid for quite some time. Look at the young guys in their 20s who want long-term contracts. How many of them can guarantee them? Let's keep in mind that to be signed by these esports orgs and get a good contract, you also have to do media obligations. For example, Dubov was recently doing an interview for his org and even did a bot speedrun. I didn't think that there was any amount of money you could pay a guy like Daniil Dubov to play bots. I just really didn't think so. And then you have Fabi and Magnus, who are doing content for Team Liquid. I mean, they made Magnus analyze my over-the-board tournament games, for God's sake. They're trying to generate views for chess using their athletes, but this all comes in their contracts. This is a great thing, okay? It's really good. The top players in the world will have guaranteed source of income and something to play for and something to go the entire season, and for the orgs to be incentivized to sign them, not just for the Esports World Cup that's going to be won by a Magnus or a Hikaru or a Firouzja or by the same names. Overall, it's really good. Literally, the only concern with this is cheating, because all of these events are online. And there is sort of an honor code and an honor system amongst top players. They don't cheat over the board. But online, especially if you're like a number 50 or 60 or 70 player in the world, a lot of these top players, even if they might not say it publicly, they will be quite concerned. And frankly speaking, there has never been a higher incentive to try to cheat in online chess. If this is how much money is going to be poured into it, that is my only concern. It's interesting to see. It will be interesting to see how they tackle it, whether that's having in-person proctoring at people's houses or really sophisticated digital monitoring of all this fair play stuff. That is literally the only concern. Other than that, this is a huge win, because it is what I have wanted for quite some time. The audience of chess fans needs something to consistently follow throughout the year, with structure, with a format, with events that flow into each other, which is why I tweeted this. This is a very exciting announcement for chess. For once, we have a cohesive schedule where certain events flow into others, ultimately culminating with a worthy championship once again in summer 2026. Imagine over-the-board chess pulled together something similar. Video coming soon. So I wrote that tweet, and then I went to the grocery store. I saw the announcement, I got excited about it, and I went to run some errands. In no way, shape, or form was this supposed to be an attack on the chess establishment, an attack on over-the-board chess. It was simply me sharing my thoughts. The truth is, and I have said this a lot, and if you read any of my comment sections, which are the biggest public audit of chess perspective, because you all commented on some of these recent videos, yeah, people struggle to follow chess or understand which are the most important tournaments. Yeah, well, my tweet was not met this way. It was met with harsh pushback. People thought I was a moron, and they were very quick to point out chess has the candidates and the World Championship and the World Cup, and they have tournaments that you can play to qualify for the candidates. And they were like, you're deliberately choosing to ignore the candidates in the World Championship, which I will get into. But none other then the CEO of the International Federation, Emil Sutovsky, quite quickly responded within 30 minutes, I may add, and said, "Sorry, Levy, Over the Board does have it, and also with much higher prizes if you sum up Grand Swiss, World Cup, candidates, and the match, and with millions in expenses related to hosting these." By the way, figures you aired at, I did a podcast, indicate you know very little about FIDE events, or you deliberately belittle them. Calling you out on that one, ready to debate on any platform. And he said that prizes have increased by 30% in their tournaments on average, instead of what I said at 3%. Okay, I'm not going to make a 50-minute video responding to this. Instead, I'm going to do this in a couple of minutes. So, again, this was not supposed to be in any way, shape, or form an attack on the International Chess Federation. What I want is for chess fans at home to have 10 to 12 tournaments they need to tune into every year where the best players are playing and there is a very clear qualification system towards something. That's all I want. Okay? And once again, we are going to break this down piece by piece. First things first, this thing over here about the prizes and the podcast. I did a podcast with Levit of Chess, and there I made a completely offhand comment where I said, I know what we can expect from FIDE every year, which is the World Cup, the candidates, the World Championship, and an increase of 3% of the prize fund every single year. Emil is saying it's 30% and he's ready to debate on every platform, so I'm just going to pull up the last 12 years of the candidates tournament and their prize fund right next to them. You can see in 2013 versus what it is in 2024, the most recent candidates tournament. And here, perhaps more drastically, are the prize funds of the World Championships dating back some 30 to 40 years. And I understand that Emil was not involved in FIDE this long, but this is kind of nuts that for multiple decades, the prize fund has not increased for the best players in the world, whereas chess itself has probably increased 25,000% or some completely crazy number, even if you just go back from 2020. Like, every day, about 90 to 100,000 people watch chess for the first time top of funnel on this channel. Is tens, if not hundreds of millions of people watching dozens of your favorite chess channels every single month. I don't know how the chess world can't come together and form a cohesive system. That's number one. All right. So I don't know. Maybe there's a way to cherry pick statistics in a way that it looks like 30%. To me, it doesn't look like 30%. Number two. Right. Chess has the candidates and the World Championship. We have a defending world champion. And we've always had a defending world champion. There was a little bit of a split in the 90s. We're not even gonna focus on that. So you got to make it to this candidates tournament, which is an 8-player double round robin, and then you have to win that tournament. You got to challenge the world champion. First things first, the best player in the world is not even playing the world championship anymore. Right? Magnus Carlsen isn't playing the world championship. Now, this has caused, in my opinion, way too much unfair criticism on Gukesh. Side note, Gukesh, 19 years old, won it when he was 18. I mean, now he's faced with like a ridiculous amount of news coverage. Like, is he a deserving world champion? And to me, it's BS. Like, he won it, and I get it, and I'm happy for the guy, and we'll see if he defends the title and what his legacy is going to be. I'm excited to see what happens. But here is how you qualify to the candidates tournament. You have to either finish top 3 in the Chess World Cup. Side note, try explaining to a new chess fan the difference between a World Cup and the World Championship. You have to get in the top in the Grand Swiss tournament, or you have to finish in the top of the circuit. This is a new thing. This is the circuit. And basically, if I can explain it in 2 sentences, if you go to play in strong chess opens around the world and you do very well in them, depending on the average rating of the opposition, you get a certain amount of circuit points and you climb up the circuit. And you have to win the circuit to become a qualifier for the candidates. Or you could just sit on your rating, but you have to play a minimum number of games. And that's basically what Hikaru's doing right now. He has the highest rating in the world of anybody that's not Magnus Carlsen, and he just needs to play a minimum amount of games every year to maintain that rating. He could literally play me. We could sanction some matches probably, and he would just beat me. But he could literally play in any tournament. He could play a random 5-round tournament somewhere, maintain that rating, and it's up to one of these other players to overtake him for the rating spot. So that's our system. It's been our system. Is it the right system? I have no idea. And on top of that, you also, at the end of the year, can be crowned a World Rapid or a World Blitz champion, except sometimes we let you split that title. So, and those tournaments are just open tournaments at the end of the year around Christmas time. So, look, like the system is the system, but there are a lot of really strong players who are either not playing in the candidates or just miss out on qualifying, and that's just sort of how we do things. But what about all these other tournaments? I'm going to show you a list of major chess tournaments throughout the year. Okay? I'm going to put it on the screen now, and it is going to scroll by month. Now, I haven't included every single major open around the world, but a lot of strong ones with 25 and 26 and 2700 rated players playing. There are organized tours, like the Grand Chess Tour included in this list. I don't even know if the list is still going. My point is that at any given moment, there is a chess tournament going on in the world, but we don't see all the best players. They're not incentivized to play. They can sit on their rating. Some play in some places, some play in other places. Here's another thing. Let's take a few chess tournaments that are iconic. Tata Steel in January. This is the time control of the tournament. This is how much time both players get on their clock. Now let's take the recently concluded Quantbox Chennai Grandmasters tournament. This was their time control, okay? Now let's take the candidates in the World Championship, which is played at a totally different time control. Now let's take Norway Chess, the tournament where Magnus slammed the table against Gukesh. We had Magnus, Hikaru, we had Gukesh all under one roof. They play a totally different tournament format. Like there, if you make a draw, you have to play an Armageddon game and it's a totally different scoring system. Look, when I spoke to Levidov, he made a great point to me. He has a son. His son is getting into tennis. If you watch tennis for a few months, you will know who the best players in the world are. You will know what type of surfaces they play on how many times a month. You will know the tournament format because it's either best of 3 or best of 5 in a knockout every single time. And barring some strange tiebreak rules or overall world ranking system by points, you will know that at the end of the year, your favorite player is rank 1, 2, 3. You will know the storyline. Is Djokovic going to retire? Is he chasing, the next Grand Slam? Alcaraz in a rivalry? Who's the best women's player right now? Like, in chess, you don't have that. Every tournament, there's a different player. In January in Tata Steel and in Chennai, it's generally like a mini qualifier, but also an invitational. Norway is 6 players. Like, only 6. And then others, like the Grand Swiss, 300 people show up to try to make the candidates, and it's a great tournament. Then there's random opens all over the world, like in Abu Dhabi. Very strong tournament. But then you have the Grand Chess Tour, which is an invitational tournament. So, like, they're not comparable, in my opinion, at all. Am I crazy for saying this? The Esports World Cup Tour will feature the same people playing every single week to try to make it to the Speed Chess Championship, to try to make it to Riyadh. When that is over, you go back to the thing on Tuesday to try to make it to the Global Championship, to try to make it to, and so on and so forth. I mean, to me, this is not rocket science. I think chess has a very unique opportunity in maybe being the second largest hobby/sport in the world that's not soccer or football. I think probably 1 billion people vaguely know how to play a chess game. The startup cost is not high. When you play a sport, you got to change your shoes, you got to change your equipment, headband, jerseys of your favorite players. When you play chess, you buy a chessboard. Maybe you buy one book or course. You're good for a long, long time. I think chess has a very unique opportunity to bring itself to the forefront of global gaming, whether it's physical chess over the board or something else. By the way, that list I showed you earlier, that doesn't even include freestyle, the Global Chess League, or any of the Esports World Cup events. So, Yeah, it's a really busy calendar in the chess world. Everybody's, battling for positioning. Everybody wants Magnus, Hikaru, and Gukesh to play in their tournaments. And it would just be really cool if there was just a very clear, system. Like, these 6 to 7 tournaments are the top tournaments to qualify for whatever the world championship is, whether it's a knockout, whether it's a one-on-one match, or whatever it is. And then we had like the next 6 or 7 that were kind of like the Masters, the ATP 1000 equivalent in tennis. And that way, can't you sell that to a sponsor so much easier? Like, maybe I'm nuts. Maybe this is just a ridiculous idea. But my post was, and by the way, I just hope you understand, this is not all a response to Emil. I responded about like the prize fund, and I'm not debating. Like, dude, I got better things to do. I like to cover the chess world. Okay? I like to cover the chess world. But it's hard. As a fan, not even as a person who sits here and makes content for you, I don't watch top tournaments. I don't even know they're happening. They happen. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I tune in for some of the games, but the broadcast is 6 hours long. I don't love chess that much. I would love if I could watch recaps, but ain't nobody making recaps like GothamChess, you know what I'm saying? So this is my point, all right? I think chess is a really unique opportunity, and it's a much younger sport than a tennis or any of these other things. But chess struggles because it's difficult for chess to have a TV sponsorship. It's difficult for chess to have a live audience. Those are the 2 things that make money in other sports. And we like don't sell jerseys or anything like that. So very exciting times in chess with esports. I will be watching once the season kicks off in September. I'm very curious who makes it to the Speed Chess Championship that will start in October, or whenever they said it was going to start. And I'm really looking forward to see which org sign people and how many, how much content is made with all of these players and so on and so forth. And over the board chess, hey, it's 2025. We're not having a candidates tournament this year. We don't even know where the World Cup is, as far as I know. I'm recording this August 25th. The World Cup is slated for October, November. We still don't have a location. Maybe it's just not public. Maybe I missed it. I don't even know where it is. And we haven't had a candidates. So we have a sitting world champion for an entire year. And that just lets the media build up stories like, why is he not winning a tournament? Well, his Rapid and Blitz performance was really good, but now it's not very good. And what about this classical tournament? Why is he not winning this classical tournament if he's the world champion? It's also not fair to Gukesh. It's just weird. The system is just weird. It's just a weird system. And, we got people, and now look, in St. Louis, in October of this year, they're organizing a rapid tournament between Magnus, Fabiano, Gukesh, and Hikaru. And the format is one where the later you go in the tournament, in like day 3, points count more. This is the only way we get to put the world champion to play the top 2 rated players in the world, and Fabi, who's like always bouncing between 3 and 5. And we have to do a rapid tournament in St. Louis to do this. Chess is just in a weird spot. It's just in a weird spot. I don't get the point of coming after me as a content creator. I really like to win Twitter points. I have a way that I would do things. It's not going to happen that way. They will do things the way that they do them, and I will still bring you the games. And guess what? Here's 3 videos where I cover games by 400 rated players that outperformed, recaps of the World Championship or the candidates or even Magnus games. The games that are 400 ELO players are playing. So chess, the way I present it, you guys enjoy watching. And I wish that I could present you a cohesive tournament format consistently. Now I can in the Esports World Cup. So I'm excited about that. Hopefully they cover all their fair play measures. And that's all I have for you today. Okay? Get out of here.